The Red Echo, a true paranormal story from Afghanistan, based on real events and military testimonies. Hi, welcome to Storyteller. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Chapter 1. The Outpost No One Wanted. Kunar Province, Afghanistan, 2012. Most guys in 3rd Platoon hated Firebase Anvil the second they saw it. It sat on the high ridge above a dried riverbed, hemmed in by jagged cliffs on 3 sides. The main building was crumbling mud brick, surrounded by rusted HESCO barriers and a few leaning watchtowers that looked like they'd fall over in the next hard wind. Captain Faulkner said it was a strategic location, but everyone else knew the truth. Firebase Anvil was a graveyard assignment, a place so remote that even the Taliban didn't bother coming near it anymore. The weird thing? It wasn't built by Americans. "Soviet forward base," said Staff Sergeant Delaney, lighting a cigarette. "Abandoned since '89. We just slapped some razor wire on it and called it ours." Day 1, they found old Soviet gas masks still hanging on nails in the walls. But it wasn't the gear that got under their skin. It was the quiet. Too quiet. No locals, no animals, no wind. At night, the silence pressed in like a weight. Radios buzzed with static, batteries drained faster than normal. The temperature dropped 20 degrees, even in the summer. And then the dreams started. Chapter 2. The Voices in the Comms. Private. Ethan Rios didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in bad chow, worse sleep, and staying alive. But on night 3, while manning the North Guard post at 0200, something came through his headset. Not garbled static. Words. "Smotri verch, oni idut." Look up, they're coming. Rios yanked off his headset. His skin crawled. He radioed down to the comm tent. "You guys patching to Russian nets or something?" "Negative," came the reply. "All clean. Try resetting your channel." He chalked it up to a fluke. Until the next night, when Corporal Jansen heard it too. Then Delaney, then 2 more guys. Always at night. Always the same scratchy voice. "Smotri verch, look up." And every time they did, nothing. Chapter 3. The Bunker. One afternoon during a recon sweep around the ridge, Delaney and his team stumbled across something half buried in a rock slide. A steel door, red, rusted, with Cyrillic lettering burned into the top. Archiv 7, Tolko dla Oficerov. Archive 7, Officers Only. The door wasn't locked, just stuck. They pried it open with a crowbar and descended into a concrete hallway that shouldn't have been there. Inside, pitch-black tunnels, water dripping from above, and old Soviet crates stacked waist-high. One was still intact. They opened it and found reels of film, handwritten ledgers, and something that made Delaney go pale. Dog tags, Russian, dozens of them, all scorched. They left the crates untouched. Delaney radioed for orders. HQ's response? "Seal it. Don't engage." But that night, the dreams spread. Chapter 4. The Dreams. Private Rios saw men in snow camo uniforms marching single file through the outpost courtyard. Their faces were blurred. One turned to him, pointed, and whispered something in Russian he somehow understood. "You are in our place now." Delaney dreamed he was trapped in the bunker, the door slamming shut behind him. The lights flickered, and suddenly he wasn't alone. Figures stood against the walls, still as statues, watching. Even Captain Faulkner started waking up screaming. By the end of the week, 5 soldiers had reported vivid dreams. 2 had night terrors. 1, Specialist Hughes, refused to go back into the bunker zone, claiming he'd seen a man without eyes watching him from the ridge. Then came the red light. Chapter 5. The Red Echo. The night it happened, the entire camp had just finished a routine radio check. No issues, no contacts. Rios was on tower duty again, scanning the ridgeline with nods. That's when he saw it. A red glow, faint but steady, pulsing from beneath the ground on the western cliffside. He radioed it in, thinking it was a flare. But before the words left his mouth, the radios across the base all burst into static and then synced together with a single, chilling broadcast. It was a Soviet march, not a voice, not gunfire. A full brass band playing through their headsets. Every soldier on base froze. Some tore off their gear. One guy started sobbing. And then, the light vanished. The radios died. The music stopped. When they rebooted the systems 20 minutes later, all was normal, except the bunker door was wide open again. Chapter 6. The Second Entry. They never reopened the bunker officially, but 2 nights after the Red Echo transmission, someone went inside. Delaney found the door ajar again during a perimeter sweep. No signs of forced entry, no footprints, no wind that strong. Inside, the once dry tunnel was now slick with water. The air was freezing, and something had changed. One of the Soviet crates, still sealed days earlier, was now split open, and beside it sat an object that hadn't been there before. A Soviet steel helmet, dented and blackened, and underneath it, a photo. Delaney picked it up and stared. It was a black and white group photo. 8 Soviet soldiers grinning at the camera, rifles slung across their chests. One had a cigarette in his mouth. Another wore aviators. They looked like real people, brothers in arms. But someone had drawn red X's over each of their faces. Except one. The man at the far right, tall, stern, unmarked. Chapter 7. The Forgotten Unit. Back at base, Faulkner ordered the team's interpreter to help identify the photo. They scanned it and ran it through intelligence databases. What came back was unnerving. Soviet Recon Unit 27, Phantom Vostok, an elite, deep insertion unit used in the 1980s to conduct high-risk ops behind Mujahideen lines, known for brutal tactics, night raids, and 0 survivors. The catch? They were officially disbanded in 1987 after a failed op near Kunar, the same location as Firebase Anvil. 8 men were MIA, never recovered. The unmarked man in the photo was their CO, Captain Dmitry Orlov. No death record, no body, just listed as disappeared, presumed KIA. Delaney stared at the photo again. That was the man in his dream, the one who whispered, "You are in our place now." Chapter 8. They never left. From that point forward, Anvil began to change. Patrol boots were found, moved in the night, lined up neatly at the edge of the barracks. Maps were rearranged. Soviet positions circled in red ink. Comms went haywire. Batteries drained in minutes. And every few nights, the same faint sound would return in the distance. Boots marching, brass echoing. Always to the west. Always around 0200 hours. Private Rios stopped sleeping altogether. One night, he swore he saw figures in white uniforms walking through the fog at the ridgeline. Uniforms from another war, another country. When the morning came, no one laughed at him. They'd seen them too. Chapter 9. The Final Contact. It happened during a lightning storm. High winds, blinding flashes. The base completely blacked out. Delaney and Rios were sent to check the generator behind the mess tent when they heard it. "Ty słyszysz mnie? Do you hear me?" The voice came from their left, from just beyond the razor wire. They spun around, rifles raised. There, illuminated by lightning, stood a single man in full Soviet gear, soaked, pale, but real. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. He just stared. Rios dropped his rifle. Delaney backed away slowly. The man raised his arm and saluted. A second flash of lightning. He was gone. They found footprints the next morning, Soviet issue, boots long since rotted from the earth. But these? Fresh. Chapter 10. Operation Quiet. A week later, 3rd Platoon was rotated out of Anvil. No explanation. A private contractor team arrived, sealed the bunker, and dropped off heavy scanning gear. They said it was geological. No one believed that. Delaney was reassigned to Bagram. He never talked about it again. Rios was discharged early. He kept the photo. Sometimes he'd take it out, stare at the man with no red X, and whisper, "I hear you." Chapter 11. Echoes that never fades. Firebase Anvil is empty now. Satellite images show the structure still standing, but faded, weather-worn. No military presence, no patrols, just radio silence. But every now and then, ham radio operators in the area pick up something strange. A faint Russian broadcast distorted by distance and age. A marching cadence. A whisper. Sometimes, just the sound of boots echoing on concrete. No source, no reply. Just an echo. Red, cold, and waiting.